Hello, my lovely. Welcome to Yoga with Carolynne. Nala is joining us for today's gentle yoga flow, where this is a heart-focused practice. So we'll be creating some space across the chest, the upper back, as well as in the shoulders, and feeling the magical effects of cultivating gratitude. So put on your comfy clothes, roll out your yoga mat, and let's get started.
Welcome to Yoga with Carolynne, teaching yoga students how to find more comfort and presence in life through the lessons of gentle hatha and yin yoga, no matter your shape or ability to touch your toes.
All right, my lovelies. So we are going to get started in Hero's Pose for today's practice. So that is exactly how I am. However, in order to make sure that this practice and this shape itself is really supportive and really accessible for you today, props might be helpful. So the one prop that you are going to definitely want for today's practice is a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block at home, there's a couple of different options that you can use. You can either use a rolled up blanket, a rolled up towel, or a few heavy books. If you are using heavy books, sometimes it doesn't feel comfortable for like the sharp edges if you're using that as a prop. So a heavy book with some sort of blanket laid over top of it will work really well. You can also use cushions. Essentially, we're just bringing in some props, some supports in order to help raise the floor up a little bit. So placing something underneath of your hips by raising the hips up and placing that prop underneath of your hips. And it doesn't have to be just one. If you have a few yoga blocks at home to really support your practice, bring in what you need. So we're starting in this shape here because it's almost impossible to slouch in Hero's Pose. So once you make your way into that shape, allow your sit bones to get really heavy on the support that you have, and then intentionally lengthen into your spine. Allow the hands to come onto the lap, and if it feels okay, the eyes come to a close. And let yourself arrive. With today's practice, the focus being on cultivating a sense of gratitude, allow your awareness to come into your heart space. So that spot in the front of your chest, and notice how that spot is feeling. Maybe it feels good, or maybe it feels a little uncomfortable. And even trying to label the sensation, it's not necessary, but just sense into what does it feel like. If you're watching this and you are still navigating in quarantine life and global pandemic, it can be difficult sometimes to cultivate a sense of gratitude when there's lots of challenges being thrown your way. There have been many studies recently that show the positive effects of cultivating gratitude, especially amongst challenging times. As you tap into your sense of humanity and to your sense of support. So as you begin to deepen and lengthen your breath, breathe into that space. As you invite a sense of gratitude to fill up this moment in your practice. Without necessarily taking the time to list off all the things for which you are grateful for, which you can, if that feels good or if that feels right for you. But what does it feel like just to feel grateful, to feel supported, to feel love? Take in one more inhale. Exhale at the mouth, let it go. Fluttering into the eyes. Find a little bit of movement here. So keeping the hands exactly where they are, the palms will come down if they are not down. And take an inhale to allow the heart to shine forward. And maybe the gaze looks up towards the sky, or the gaze can stay forward. On the exhale, starting at the base of the tailbone, spread the shoulder blades wide and tuck the chin in towards the chest. Hello, Nala. A few more times like that. Inhale. Exhale. One last time, moving at your own pace with your own rhythm of breath. Bring yourself back into that nice long and neutral spine. Once you come back into stillness, take an inhale to allow the arms to come out to either side. Spread the fingertips away from each other. Really shine that heart forward. And then you're gonna cross the arms, crossing one arm over top of the other. It doesn't really matter, left or right. And then you've got a couple of different opportunities here. So your first one would be to grab hold of the shoulders with your hands and using the fingertips to kind of pull the shoulder blades away from each other. Opportunity number two would be to bring the backs of the hands together, or you can bring the palms of the hands together. And notice how I use the words opportunity as opposed to modification or variation, because all of them are good. Not one is better than the other. So I'm going to choose today with the hands on the shoulders. And then this is where we get to explore. So you're going to press into the knees. Take an inhale to lift yourself up and the elbows reach up towards the sky. Gaze comes up. Exhale as you bring your hips back down, and then allow your chin to roll towards your chest as you kind of roll forward. So very similar than what we just did. Inhale, press into the knees, bring yourself all the way back up. Exhale as you bring yourself down and you round forward with the chest. One last time. Once you make your way down, rounding forward, take a few deep breaths here, noticing what space you can create in the upper back and the shoulder blades. Send your breath towards the upper back. On your next inhale, bring yourself upright. Release that cross with the arms. Before you do it, just make sure you notice which arm is over the other. And then allow that spreading across the chest to come into the shape again. Spread those fingertips away from each other. Take a little bit more air in. On the exhale, cross the opposite arm over top, and then choose which position you'd like to take with the arms, remembering that one is not better than the other, but the options are either hands on shoulders, backs of the hands come together, or the palms of the hands come together. So choose what is supportive for you today in your body. And then let's move. Inhale as you press into the knees, bring yourself up, the elbows reach up. Exhale as you bring yourself down, round forward, chin drops in towards the chest. 2 more times like that. Next time you bring yourself down and forward, then stay there for a few deep breaths, noticing what space you can create in the upper back. Breathe into those spots where you feel the sensation, and can you create some softness? On your next inhale, bring yourself upright, spread across the heart, reach those fingertips away from each other. Gaze comes up. Exhale to stay in the shape. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring the hands into heart center, press the palms together, drop the chin in towards the chest. Gratitude. Come back to that sensation. Opening up into the eyes, lift the chin back up, release the fingertips away from each other. You're going to be releasing that prop from away from you, but you're going to stay in a very similar position that you already are in. I'm just going to turn away from you so then we can be practicing this together. So I'll ask that you make your way into a child's pose. So maybe the knees widen a little bit more to create some space for your body. Your hips are on your heels, and then allow yourself to come down and forward. Arms come alongside the body with the palms open towards the sky. So take an inhale. You're going to be pressing into those knees to bring yourself all the way up towards the sky. So same position that we were just in. Bring yourself up. On the exhale, bend into the elbows, pull the elbows back and behind, and you'll meet with the hands onto either your hips or your low back with the fingertips reaching towards the floor. Press into the hips as you allow the hip bones to reach forward and you shine the heart up and forward. Take one more inhale here. Exhale as you allow the hands to just trail down the thighs and bring yourself back into your child's pose. Arms settle down, palms open towards the sky. That's our movement. Inhale, you'll press yourself up, reach all the way up. The exhale bends into the elbows, finding that space across the heart. Hands come onto the low back or the hips. Inhale as you press the hips forward, gaze comes up. Exhale, bring it down. One last time, inhale, bring yourself up. On the exhale, enjoy that stretch you feel across the heart as you really pull the elbows down and back. Hands come onto the low back or the hips. Inhale. Exhale. Child's pose. From your child's pose, slide the hands underneath the shoulders. You're just doing that to press yourself up so that you can bring yourself all the way down onto your belly. Once you make your way down onto your belly, we'll be exploring Sphinx Pose. So allow the forearms to come down onto the floor. If your low back is feeling sensitive already, then I'll ask that you just widen your feet about the width of your mat. Making sure that you've got alignment of elbows underneath of the shoulders. The reason that we do that is just so you not have to use too much strengthening to really find that shape. If it feels more comfortable for you, however, to have the elbows out a little wider or a little bit more forward, which will make the sensation a little bit less intense. And let's take a few deep breaths here. So this is a yin yoga posture. If you are new to the yin yoga practice, basically, you just hold the pose. You find some stillness and you breathe deeply. Notice what sensations you feel in the body and wherever you find those spots. The inhales create space, a little bit of expansion. And the exhales is what invites softness. Really feel that sensation of the pull of the heart forward as you tap back into that sensation of gratitude. I am grateful. If it helps for you to repeat that mantra to yourself, then do that. Notice what you feel inside of yourself when you say that to yourself. I am grateful. There is so much that I have to be grateful for. Please take one more inhale here. On the exhale, widen into the elbows and then bring your forehead or one cheek down onto the mat. If your mid to low back is feeling any sort of sensations that don't feel quite good here, then you can bring a bend into the legs and allow the feet to flop from side to side. Releasing into the hips, releasing into the back. And slide the hands underneath of the shoulders, press into the hands and knees to bring yourself back up to tabletop position. And then you're gonna want your block for the next shape or your rolled up blanket or your pillow. I'll ask that you bring your hips down onto the mat and allow your legs to come in front of you. And then your block, whatever prop that you have, comes behind you. So that block is going to be setting yourself up for supported fish pose, which is a beautiful heart opener. Again, it is a yin yoga posture. So we're really taking things slow and still and gentle today. So that block is behind you and it's going to be landing about mid upper back. So bringing yourself down onto that block, that pillow, that rolled up blanket, so that the bottom of the prop hits mid-back. Top of the block hits about mid to top shoulder blades, and then the head comes down onto the floor. If the head does not comfortably come down onto the floor, then a second prop underneath of your head will feel really good here. If you are new to this shape and you've never practiced this pose before, I'll leave a link in the description box below as well as above in the video for a pose tutorial on how you can really support yourself in this pose. You can choose where the arms go, so really explore what would feel good to create that space across the heart for you today. The wider the arms with the palms open towards the sky, the more sensation you might feel. Legs can be straight, or you could bring soles of the feet onto the mat with the knees just knocking in towards each other, or soles of the feet can come together as you open the knees wide. We're going to be here for about a minute. So if it feels safe for you, if it feels supportive, the eyes can just drift to a close as you feel the sensations, be that physically or emotionally. Allow your breath to be part of this moment, part of this practice, as well as that sensation and that focus for today of gratitude. I am grateful. There is so much for which I have to be grateful. So interesting. We all know the powers, right? We all know in theory the powers of finding gratitude and cultivating gratitude. Sometimes it can be difficult, especially when times are hard. But the thing about creating new habits is that they become easier and easier to practice and implement the more that you actually do them. Your yoga mat is a really beautiful and safe space to begin to implement those habits that feel good, that feel nourishing. So if you just start with cultivating gratitude in your days when you're on your yoga mat, that is perfect, and that is a great place to start. To release out of the shape, you're going to reach one arm up overhead, and you're going to be rolling off of the prop. So bringing yourself onto your side, roll off of the prop, move that prop from beneath you, and then bring yourself back onto your back. Notice how the upper back feels. Notice how the shoulders feel here. Allow your whole body to just settle in this neutral and supported shape just for a moment as you just pause. And then rolling onto one side and pressing yourself into a comfortable seat. Bringing the hands into heart center, pressing the palms together, thumbs are pressing in towards the heart. As you come to the end of your practice today, one last time, repeat to yourself, I am grateful. Breathe that in. Exhale, let it go. Fluttering the eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me during today's practice. If it felt good and if you would like to expand on today's lessons, then why don't you take a moment, grab your notebook, grab your journal, and maybe jot down a few things that for which you are grateful, for which you were able to find a silver lining in during these possibly challenging times. I'm so honored to have you join in this practice with me today. And if you appreciated this practice, please give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also check out my other offerings, all the links for which are in the description box below. I hope that you have a beautiful and wonderful rest of your day. From my heart to yours, until next time, namaste.